My name is Ana Clara. I'm 28 years old, and for a long time, I truly believed I had the perfect life. I was married to Davi, a man everyone admired. Hardworking, polite, the perfect husband, as my mother liked to say. And I also had a younger sister, Luana, 24, who had always been treated like the family's little princess. You know, that kind of person who never makes mistakes, never gets blamed, never has to take responsibility. That was Luana and me. I was the responsible one, the mature one, the one who always had to understand everything. But that week, everything collapsed out the day my dad showed up acting strange. It was a normal Tuesday. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted, thinking only about taking a shower and lying down for a while. But the moment I opened the door, I saw my father sitting on the couch. That instantly gave me chills. My dad never showed up out of nowhere. And when he did, it was usually with a smile, bringing sweet bread, asking how I was doing. But that day he looked different. His eyes were heavy. His hands were clasped together, trembling. His face was serious, like he was about to announce a tragedy. I swallowed hard. Dad, what happened? He took a deep breath, like he was trying not to cry. And then he said, Ana, we need to talk. My heart started racing. At that moment, my mind went everywhere. I thought someone had died. I thought it was illness. I thought it was an accident. But the truth was worse. The cruelest intervention of my life. My father stood up slowly. Your mother is coming. And Luana too. I frowned. Luana? Why? My dad looked away as if he was ashamed because this involves her. My stomach dropped. Before I could say anything else, the doorbell rang. My mother walked in with that judgmental look I knew all too well. Right behind her came Luana. My sister's eyes were red, pretending to cry. She had always been a great actress and lost. Davi walked in. My husband, he wouldn't look at me, wouldn't meet my eyes. And that's when I understood. The air became heavy, suffocating. My mother sat down, crossed her arms, and said, Ana Clara, we need to talk about your marriage. I almost laughed. My marriage? My father looked broken. He rubbed his face and spoke in a low voice. I saw Davi and Luana together. Silence. The world went into slow motion. I looked at Luana. She lowered her head like she was the victim. I looked at Davi. He was pale. My father continued. I went to Luana's apartment earlier today. I wanted to surprise her, bring some things. And I saw them. My mother quickly added. In bed. My chest tightened. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't fall apart. And that confused them. They tried to blame Mommy. Mother pointed her finger at me as if I were the one at fault. Ana, you need to understand something. Men do this when they don't feel appreciated. I blinked. Excuse me? She continued. You're always working, always tired, always stressed. Maybe you made him feel lonely. Anger rose in my throat like fire. My father tried to interrupt. Maria, stop. But my mother didn't stop. And Luana, she's young, she's affectionate, she's different. I'm not defending her, but Luana started crying harder. I didn't want this. I swear it just happened. It happened. As if it were an accident. As if she had tripped and fallen right onto my husband. Davi finally spoke. In that sorry only because I got caught voice. Ana, I'm sorry. I messed up, but you've changed so much. I stayed silent. I just watched. They were trying to break me, trying to make me believe it was my fault. But what they didn't know was that I had known everything for weeks. I already knew. And I was waiting for this moment. Yes, I already knew. Discovered the affair 3 weeks earlier. Davi started acting strange, hiding his phone, showering with the door locked, and every time I mentioned Luana, he changed the subject until one night, he fell asleep on the couch and left his phone unlocked, and I saw it. Messages, photos, voice notes, declarations. I love you. Luana, she doesn't suspect a thing. You're better than her. I read everything in silence, my hands shaking, but I didn't cry. At that moment, I felt something stronger than sadness. I felt disgust, and I decided if they wanted to destroy me, I would destroy them first, but the right way. Calmly, strategically. The part they didn't expect. I didn't beg sitting there. Looking at all of them, I took a deep breath and finally spoke. So that's it. You called me here for an intervention? My mother answered, it's not an intervention, Ana. It's a warning. You need to understand your role in this. My father looked like he wanted to disappear, and I simply smiled, a cold smile. Luana looked up, surprised. Ana, are you okay? And I replied, I'm great. Davi's eyes widened. Ana, don't say that. I know you're hurt. I stood up slowly and walked to the table, grabbed a black folder, and placed it in front of them. Before you keep blaming me, I want you to read this. My mother opened the folder, and her face changed instantly. My father looked over her shoulder. Luana stopped crying, and Davi turned white as paper because inside that folder was everything. Screenshots of the messages, photos they exchanged, bank transfers Davi made to Luana, receipts of motel visits and trips, and most importantly, the apartment contract. The financial betrayal was worse than the emotional one. I looked straight at Davi. You know what hurt me the most? He swallowed hard. Ana, it wasn't you sleeping with my sister. That only proved you're worthless. A step closer. What hurt me the most was discovering you were using my money to support her. My mother's eyes widened. What do you mean? I took a deep breath. Davi took money from our joint account and sent it to Luana. He paid for her hair, her clothes, her phone, dinners. And he still told me I spent too much. Luana jumped up, desperate. That's a lie. I looked at her. Want me to show the bank statements? She went silent. My father looked like he was about to have a heart attack. Luana, did you do this? She tried to justify herself. I didn't ask for anything. I laughed. Of course not. You just accepted everything. The final blow. I had already planned everything. Davi tried to grab my hand. Ana, let's talk. We can fix this. I pulled my hand away in disgust. No. Davi, there is no fixing this. I grabbed another document and tossed it onto the table. Here is the divorce petition. It's already signed. He shook. What? I continued. And here is the property division process. But there's one detail. I looked at everyone. The apartment we live in was never his. My mother looked confused. What do you mean? And I explained calmly. The apartment is in my father's name. I bought it, but registered it under his name for safety, because Davi had old debts and I didn't want him touching anything. My father stared at me, shocked. Ana, you did that? I nodded. I did. And thank God I did. Davi collapsed onto the couch. You tricked me all this time? I stepped closer. Trick you? No. I protected myself. And then I said the sentence that destroyed his world. You're leaving this house today. Luana's mask finally fell. Luana started screaming. You're destroying the family. I looked at her. Me? She stepped toward me, attacking with words. You were always the favorite. You always had everything. You were always the perfect one. I just wanted one chance to be happy. And I answered without raising my voice. You didn't want to be happy. Luana, you wanted what was mine. My mother tried to defend her. Ana, she's your sister. And I cut her off. No, she's a snake. And you raised her that way. My father was crying. He looked ashamed for letting it all go that far. Eviction that same night. I called a lawyer. Davi tried to argue, manipulate, beg for forgiveness, but it was too late. Within a week, He received the formal divorce notice. I also sent Luana a legal notice demanding the money back, or I would sue her. She thought I was bluffing until she got the court summons, and then she lost her mind. She started texting me saying I was cruel, that I was cold, that I was cold, that I was a horrible sister. But the truth was simple. She was only angry because she failed to destroy me, the public humiliation they deserved. The most satisfying part? I found out Davi and Luana were planning to officially become a couple after the divorce, like some forbidden romance story. So I decided to do something they would never forget. At my father's birthday lunch, with the whole family gathered, I stood up and said, "Before we sing happy birthday, I just want to thank everyone for being here." Everyone smiled. Luana smiled too, but then I continued. "And I also want to announce that my marriage is over because my husband has been sleeping with my sister." The silence was so heavy you could hear forks dropping. My aunt covered her mouth. My cousin's eyes widened. My grandfather almost stood up. And Luana froze. Davi turned red. My mother was speechless. I finished. "I just wanted that to be clear, because I will not be treated as guilty for something I didn't do." And I sat down. That was the first time I felt peace. The devastating divorce, the process was fast because I had proof of cheating and financial fraud. Davi got almost nothing. He lost the right to stay in the apartment, lost part of the money he tried to hide, and ended up drowning in debt. He tried to reach out later, texted me, said he missed me, said I was the love of his life, but I felt nothing. Not anger. Not love. Only disgust. Starting over in Florianópolis for everything, I realized staying in the same city would mean living surrounded by painful memories. So I did something I had never been brave enough to do before I moved. I chose Florianópolis, a beautiful place with beaches, light air, and a feeling of freedom I had never felt before. I rented a small but cozy apartment, bought new furniture, started a new routine, gym, therapy, remote work, and little by little, I regained something I had lost for years, myself. And what happened to them? Davi and Luana tried to stay together, but their relationship didn't last, even 6 months, because relationships that start with betrayal end with betrayal. Luana found out Davi was talking to other women. Davi found out Luana only wanted money and status. And in the end, both of them ended up alone. My mother tried to reach out to me, acting like nothing had happened, but I set boundaries. My father was the only one I forgave, because I could see he was truly devastated by everything. Even so, I was never the same with my family again. The last thing I said to Davi months later, he showed up at my door in Florianópolis. Yes, he traveled all the way there. He looked exhausted. Broken. With dark circles under his eyes. He said, "Ana, I lost everything. I just want to come back." I looked at him and replied, "You didn't lose everything, Davi." He smiled with hope, but then I finished, "You only lost what you never valued." And I gained what I never had, peace. I closed the door, and in that moment, I knew I was finally free. Thank you so much for watching this video on the channel Family Stories. If this story touched you or made you reflect on real-life situations that many people go through, don't forget to leave a like. It helps the channel a lot to keep bringing emotional stories full of twists and drama. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any chapters of our family dramas. Stories of overcoming pain and justice. Now we want to hear from you. What would you do if you were in Ana Clara's place? Do you think she did the right thing by exposing the betrayal and starting over from scratch? Leave your comment below, because your opinion is very important, and we always read everything with love.